Welcome, everybody, to Lee's podcast. I'm your host, Lee Yang. Well, this is a great surprise, and I'm so glad I have 4 guys in here with me. You guys are going to be the first 4 guys with me today. Everybody that I have had on here so far have been single mothers or married mothers or a couple or whatever. And so you guys are going to be different compared to everybody else. All right? So welcome. I want to just introduce you guys a little bit to my listeners. You guys are non-Hmong Mormons. We'll just use that for now, and then you guys can clarify. And some of you guys, the 2 of you, speak Hmong.
Yes.
Right? So, all right. So let's go down either which direction and introduce yourself. Again, name, where you're from, your ethnicity, and your years doing this work or missionary work.
Okay, awesome. My name is Elder Wilkes. My first name is Kent Wilkes, but as missionaries, we go by Elder. I'm from Layton, Utah, from, out west. I'm white.
Want to come closer?
Yes.
There you go.
And then I've been doing my mission for about 14 months now. So 15, more like 15 at this point. So.
All right, cool.
Sweet. My name is Elder Beck, but my first name is Riker. I'm from Idaho Falls, Idaho, so out west as well. And I've been out on my mission for about almost 22 months, and we'll be out here for 2 whole years.
Okay. And your ethnicity?
And I'm white.
Okay.
I'm Elder Lee, or my first name is Derek. I'm from Fresno, California. I've been serving for around 18 months now. And Kuya Hmong.
You are?
Yeah.
My wife and I thought you weren't. You look like Vietnamese or something. You are Hmong. Okay, you make it easy. So you're excluded in the non-Hmong one. All right, and last?
My name is Elder Woods. My first name is Josh. I'm from Texas, so little south. And I've been a missionary for about 23 months so far.
23 months.
So I'm almost done with all my missionary
Cool.
service.
All right, so kind of what I had mentioned earlier. You guys are Mormon, but when you clarify that Mormon seems to be a general term, isn't it, or not? So if any one of you guys can clarify what church it is.
Yeah, so Mormon's kind of a nickname because we read from the Book of Mormon, but we go by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints because we want to glorify Jesus Christ, and so we want to do that by making sure it's his church that you're going by.
I think that's a good point because you guys do believe in Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All right, you guys aren't don't have a different Messiah or anything, or no? Okay, good. And I think part of the confusion is that when they think of Mormon, they think of, okay, you're a whole different kind of sect. You guys don't believe in Jesus Christ, but you guys do.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Very much so.
Now, let me ask you a few silly questions. They're under the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Are there different beliefs, different practice? Because I know you have fundamentalist churches, don't they? Or no?
So are you talking about like the fundamentalists, like LDS, the kind of sect?
Correct. Is that different than you guys? Correct?
Yeah, so that's a little bit of a break-off sect from us, and that's not really like the main, I guess, sect of our religion. And they've got a few different beliefs from us.
So that I want to get clarification on that too, because when people start thinking about religion, right, Mormons, they start generalizing it, right, and then they start generalizing you guys being maybe radicals or whatever, but you guys aren't. Now the fundamentalists are more extreme in what you're saying, correct?
I'm not 100% too sure about what they believe, but from what I've heard, yes. A little bit more.
Who was it a few years back that convicted? Was he LDS also, right? Warren Jeff?
Yeah, I think I remember who you were saying. He was the FLDS, like the fundamentalist.
Oh, yes, yep.
Yeah, because I had someone that I was talking to, and they came the next day like, hey, I don't want to talk to you anymore because of this guy that got convicted in your church.
So you know someone that was part of his church?
No, we were talking to them to teach them, and then they learned about this guy.
Oh, they assumed.
Yeah, and so they assumed that we were part of the same church, and we're like, no, that's a different church and stuff like that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, because I know that group, they do multiple wives, and they do all these other weird stuff. Okay, but not you guys.
Nope.
All right, cool. So whoever's listening, okay, simple clarification. That's all I want to do right now, okay? Because I'm hoping that if you guys are okay with it, you guys can come back and we can go deeper into other stuff. All right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Typically, this podcast is like 45 minutes long to an hour. So anyway, Great. Well, let's get that out of the way. I'm glad we did. So, in regards to who you guys are, what is the core of what you guys believe in? I mean, if you have to repeat what you just said, but what is the core?
I would say our main belief is all in Jesus Christ. I think a lot of people don't really realize about how much we really do believe in Jesus Christ, but it's pretty simple. A lot of shared beliefs was basic Christianity, and we believe that Jesus Christ was the Savior of the world, that through him that we can be better in this life, and through him return to live with our Heavenly Father again. And there's a few different things, like we along with the Bible, we read the Bible, but along with it we have a scripture called the Book of Mormon, and which is another testament of Jesus Christ. And so as we kind of what the Book of Mormon does, it adds another witness of the divinity of Jesus Christ, and it allows us to know more about Jesus Christ and really come to know him a lot better than with just the Bible, because there's lots of different interpretations about the Bible, and with the Book of Mormon it kind of doesn't allow room for those different interpretations, because there's lots of different Christianity sects and or I guess religions, and that like they all read the Bible, but they kind of have slight variations of beliefs because just because of different interpretations. So the Book of Mormon is another testament for us of Jesus Christ, and it kind of clarifies a lot of different things about stuff for us.
Now, explain to the listeners what's in the Book of Mormon. Is it stories? Is it parables? Is it lessons? What's in there?
That's a great question. So the Book of Mormon, it takes place in ancient America about the same time the Bible does, actually, and it's this kind of a story of the people's dealings with God and with each other and their life lessons and everything. And so it kind of is organized kind of like the Old Testament, where the Old Testament is like kind of goes along with the story and the people and everything, and it also teaches lessons. And so that's what the Book of Mormon is. But the highlight, the kind of tippy top of the Book of Mormon is Jesus Christ coming to ancient America and teaching the people there and establishing his church there. And so that's kind of what the Book of Mormon is. So it's like God loves all of the people in the world, so he had Jesus Christ come to ancient America and ancient Israel and Jerusalem, and that way we could have two witnesses, so we could learn more about him.
Okay, that's interesting, and that was here in America.
Mm-hmm.
Where specifically was it? Like Kansas City? I mean, somehow I think of Kansas because of Dorothy, right? But where was he? I mean, where did the story start here in the Book of Mormon?
That's a really good question. I think many of the stories occurred in the Southern American continents, actually, some more kind of in that area. But there have been historical traces of those people all the way up even into Wisconsin in some areas. I was in actually Port Washington, and there were some Indian burial grounds there that actually had kind of been traced back to that area and back to that people. But mainly it was in the Southern American continents.
Okay, like what? Like South Carolina?
I'd say all the way down to like Mexico and Brazil and things of that nature. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and then along with that, the more further, what's the word? Kind of witness that Jesus Christ did come to ancient America is the Oneida tribe actually has history of their ancestors seeing a man with holes in his hands and all white.
Mm.
And so we as Christians know that seems like it's Jesus Christ, right? And so that's just kind of a further witness, like, oh yeah, like Jesus Christ did come to ancient America, and he did teach his people there.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, I think, would you say the Book of Mormon is kind of like a supplement to the Bible, right?
Yes.
Isn't it? Is it a supplement? Yeah, still, the Bible is still the Bible to go based off of. The Book of Mormon is a supplement, kind of what you said, kind of, I don't know, kind of specify what is it that you guys need to do within the parameter, because the Bible can be interpreted. I mean, right? I mean, you can interpret the Bible many ways. Mm-hmm. And then I'm assuming what you said, the Book of Mormon kind of narrowed it down to specifically what you can and cannot do.
Yeah, kind of. It's like if you have a friend that says, "Hey, this movie's really good," you're like, "Okay, yeah, like the movie might be pretty good." Like, but then you are thinking about it like, oh, maybe the movie's not as good. But if you have two friends come, like, hey, this movie's bomb. Like, I love this movie.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, like, this movie's good. So now we have two witnesses of Jesus Christ. We have the Bible, which is great. We love the Bible. And it's like, yeah, like Jesus Christ. And then we have the Book of Mormon. It's like, oh, there's another one that testifies of Jesus Christ. So like, oh, boom. There's two different people on both sides of the world that are learning and talking about Jesus Christ and testifying of Jesus Christ. And so it kind of just, they help each other. So like the Book of Mormon can't stand without the Bible, and the Bible can't stand without the Book of Mormon. Together, they make the perfect gospel of Jesus Christ.
Okay. So, and basically that's the core, right, of what you guys believe in. You know, I think this is great because I think what I want to do is maybe eventually have you guys come back and we can kind of dive into it. To be honest, I'm not really educated on what you guys do. I know of what you guys do just based off of what other people tell me, right? I'm assuming you guys get that from whenever you guys talk to people, kind of with your experience, right? Where they think, hey, you're Mormon, so you're part of Warren Jeff's group or whatever. But no, it's a little different, So, All right, cool. So let's jump into, and we can get back if you guys want to come back. We can come back and talk about this also. But let's jump into what you guys do specifically. Okay. All right. So you guys are missionaries
Yep.
here in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about logistically. All right. You're sitting at home. Okay. I'm assuming you have to be 18 or older.
Yep.
Graduated high school. I'm assuming even before high school. No?
No.
Okay. So you're done with high school. You're deciding what you want to do. How does that work?
Yeah. So basically, I would say, yeah, growing up, at least for me, I was like, I always planned on going on a mission. You just don't really, prepare for it till you're about a senior, graduated already. But for me, I guess like logistically, you just kind of, you have to get ready. You have to like talk with the bishop or somebody who like leads the ward in the area that you're living in, and kind of like a pastor, but a little different. They're not, they're not paid. But you talk with them. You make sure you're physically ready, spiritually ready to go on a mission and teach God's word. And you send all your papers in to the headquarters, which are in Salt Lake, Utah, and then you'll get a call back, and they basically tell you where to go. And
So you can't decide.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah, and so you'll get that, and they'll tell you what language you're speaking. Lots of times it'll be English. You either stay in America or you can go anywhere in the world. I actually have a friend right now in Trinidad and Tobago, in South America. So, and then obviously us with Hmong speaking, you get called really whatever. They kind of just whether they need you or whatever. And so, and I guess starting that, you'll get all your stuff ready. We live out of 2 suitcases right now and a couple extra bags and stuff. And
wow.
so, we travel. We usually move around. I don't know. I would say like 3 months in an area, 3 to 6 months in an area, and then we, kind of go to a different area.
As in, like, how far are you moving? Are you moving from the north side to the south side? Or are you moving from city to city?
That is a great question. So before I came to Milwaukee, I was living in Marquette, Michigan.
Marquette, wait, isn't that north? Is
Yeah,
that the upper
so like,
peninsula?
Yeah, all the way up there. And so
Wow.
it's kind of like there's not necessarily, sometimes it's a little bigger than cities, but there's like designated areas that you go that the people in that area go to one specific building. That way, like, it's a little bit more organized. So that way it's not like someone from the south side is traveling like 45 minutes to come to church. You can travel 20 minutes to a church building and stuff. And so, yeah, it's the areas are just kind of the designated spot where, like, you kind of teach the people there, and then you can kind of get moved around. So, like, I've lived in Appleton, Green Bay, Marquette, Milwaukee. Like, I've lived all over Wisconsin.
Wow, yeah.
Up in
It's
UP.
4 months at a time? Or-
It really kind of just depends on, because we have a person, he's called the mission president. He kind of basically just tells us where to go.
Okay.
And so it really depends on what where he sends us. So I was actually in Wausau for about 7.5 months.
Oh, there's a huge Hmong population.
Yeah,
up there.
there is. And then there's I was only in Green Bay for about 4 months, and so it kind of just depends on
Where the need is at.
basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and like for me, I was in Waukesha for like a month and a half, like 6 weeks. And then I went up to Marquette, and I was up there for like 2.5 to 3 months. Then I came back to Milwaukee.
Okay.
And I've been here for probably almost 2 months.
And you don't know where you're going to go next. So you're just here
Yeah.
until when they say, okay,
Yeah.
we need you to move.
And my guess is I'll probably finish my mission here.
Okay.
But we'll find out. Let's see. We know we're in an area for at least 6 weeks. And so that's what we call it, like transfers. And every 6 weeks there's a transfer, and we find out if we're staying or going, or if we're getting a new companion and stuff like that.
Is it always a group of 4? Is it always a group of 5? Is it always, or is it by yourself when you go to a new location?
So we'll always, at the very least, there will always be at least 2 missionaries. Right now, there's only 4 of us because we actually share a ward. So we have the Hmong elders and then the English elders, and so we kind of, that's the only reason where there's 4 of us right now. But typically, there's sometimes you might only have 2 elders in an area.
So, and I'm just going to jump over the place in regards to questions. Are there any do's and don'ts?
That's a really good question. As missionaries, we do live pretty specific rules. It's kind of interesting. So, like for 2 years, I haven't watched TV in
Wow,
15 months. So we get up at 6:30 every day. We go to bed at 10:30 every day. That's kind of set. We're focused all that time. That all that time is dedicated to missionary service, and so we usually, in the olden times, you usually didn't talk to your families, only like over letters and stuff. But now they've kind of updated it to where we can call our families one day out of the week. We get to talk to them for a little bit.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And so that's really kind of, not to go into too many weird specifics, but we do kind of have some rules that we follow as missionaries to keep us safe and help us be at a spiritual level that we need to be teaching all the time.
Okay. And who checks in on you guys? Is it the supervisor? What was it? The title?
The mission president.
Yeah. Does he check in on you guys like every couple of weeks? Like, hey, what's going on?
I guess every transfer he kind of has an interview with each individual missionary, but it's really just kind of about really whatever the missionary wants to talk about and just kind of needs. But so yeah, I guess that you could say he's checking in on us kind of.
Okay. But for the most part, you guys are autonomous. You know what you need to do. You just go out and do what you need to do. Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah, because like we all choose to be out here on missions, right? And so we choose to be out here, so we're going to be out here and we're going to do what we chose to do. And so most of the time we just kind of grind.
So going back to your point of family.
Yes.
Once a week. Is it hard, or you guys just kind of get used to it?
It's a big blessing from not being able to call them at all.
Okay.
So I guess it's weird when you go to the airport and you go fly to where you're going to be for 2 years, you say goodbye. And that's kind of I would say a hard thing for most of us to not see our families for 2 years, but they've made it so we can call them once a week. And that's been a big blessing to me because I've recognized, at first I thought I was going to be really disconnected from them and that, our relationship was going to suffer. But as I've gone through this and shared the experiences I've had, I've actually grown better relationships with my father, with my mom.
Nice.
And been able to have kind of spiritual journeys with them. And my sister especially, me and my little sister used to all the time butt heads.
My son and my daughter, same thing.
There
just
you
go
go.
at it every day.
But now, me and her, we love each other, and we talk about those spiritual things and things in life that, she comes to me for help oftentimes. And so
Nice.
it's been a really cool experience. So I would say, you get pretty used to it, and you really take advantage of that time you have to call.
How about you, buddy?
I'd say
Because you're Hmong also, right?
Yeah.
So you haven't said anything. So anything interesting?
my parents I'd say they're pretty Americanized now. My grandma, my grandpa, when they came to the Americas, they actually landed in Utah, and the church sponsored them and kind of helped them out with their situation. So I think the church really blessed them in their lives, and now being more kind of Americanized, it's blessed me to know that this is my family, and I'm really blessed to have them on my mission right now. Calling once a week, it's been really a big blessing, because me, my dad, and my mom, we had a good relationship, but then this really set the relationship even higher.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do they send money? Do they send care package? Are they allowed to do that?
Yes,
Yeah.
they can.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, like I've gotten packages. My mom has sent me packages for my birthday, like for Christmas, and sometimes just whenever. if she's just thinking about me and wants to send me stuff, but
Yeah.
they can do stuff like that.
So somehow the Hunger Game popped in my head. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
You get the care package flying like to you or something. Okay, do you guys have to dress up every day? I'm assuming that's part of the
Yeah.
dues, right?
Yes.
Okay. And that's just to distinguish you guys from, or is that just kind of like going to work?
It's pretty much like, getting ready and kind of going to work like that. Yeah. Because as missionaries, there's not a day we're not a missionary, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. Do you guys find it hard to do what you guys do, though? I mean, I say that because I've had people knock on my door, right, as a Christian myself, and I find that ministering to other Christians can be the hardest because they already know, right?
Mhm.
So, I mean, again, is this something that you guys find hard doing?
Yes and no. Like, yes, it can be difficult, but also at the same time, that there's always people trying to come closer to God,
Mm-hmm.
and there's nothing better than serving God. And so, yeah, it's hard, but also everything's worth it. Like, if I talk to 20 people, and out of those 20 people, one person talks to me back, and then they want to get closer to God, and I get to see that light in their eyes as they come closer to God, that makes it 10 times over.
Makes it worth it. Right?
Yeah,
I hear you.
I'd also say it really depends on your perspective of things, because our purpose as a missionary, this is like something that we've been taught since day one, is our purpose is to invite others to come unto Christ. And I think at the beginning of my mission, I kind of forgot what, I guess I didn't have it ingrained in my mind as much, but I thought a good missionary was able to teach people and like convert and baptize them and have them become a member of our church. But that's just like, that's, even though that's what that's part of what we do, that's not the main purpose of why we're out here. We're out here to help others to come unto Christ. And I think when we look at it in that way, when we're doing all that we can in order to do that, help others come unto Christ, and it makes those hard days a little bit easier, just because you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay. Cool. Because I think, in my opinion, right, I think what speaks louder, and I say this just from my own experience, because I've had people come to my door, not specifically, missionaries like you guys, but you have other people that come to my door. I find that for me, if I get to know you, right, it's a little bit more effective than you shoving things at me. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if I got to know you, right, and we became good friends, I'm like, hey, I appreciate where you're at. It's a little bit better than you or someone coming to me and say, hey, this is what the Bible says. And how do you guys go about it? Do you guys just help out people, volunteer? I mean, how do you go about showing others about who you are and what you guys are here to do?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is we try to be an example of Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So if how I think about it is if Jesus Christ would do it, then I'm going to do it. And so if Jesus Christ is not going to push this, then I'm not going to push it. But if, like, I try to follow his spirit. And, like, so we do service, we help people, and there's been times when I've helped people and I haven't even brought up church. But there's been times that I've helped people and done service, and then I'm like, oh, I feel like I need to bring up church. And I do. And I bring up God and everything and different things like that. So I think the spirit definitely helps of when to push, when not to push. But ultimately, it comes down to love. You love everybody. And when you show that love, then doors open. Because like the first great commandment, love God. And with that comes loving your neighbor. And if you love your neighbor, then relationships form, and then you can help people come closer to God.
So what happens now? You guys mentioned earlier, how many more months you have left?
Just at 1 month. Yeah.
1 month. I mean, each
All
one.
right,
So what happens when you're done?
Yeah. So whenever we're done, we just so we fly back home wherever home is, and so we're actually when you first begin the mission, you're set apart by a priesthood leader in our church, and when you get home, they actually release you from being a missionary, and so technically you don't have to follow those missionary rules anymore, and you kind of just get on with regular life again. But one thing about the mission is like, we don't just do 2 years of service for God and then go back home and be the same person we were before the mission. The mission is definitely it changes you a lot, especially whenever you're putting all your hard work and effort in. And one of the things I'm excited to go back to is lots of my friends, they don't really know a lot about church, and we can still be missionaries even though we're not doing it 24/7. But yeah, we go home and just kind of live regular life. Go to school, get a job, get a girlfriend, maybe a wife.
That's a good question. Okay, I want to go down the line. What is your plan after the mission?
Yep. So for me, I'm going to BYU, Idaho, in the fall. So I won't be there till September. So I'm just going to be working at my high school job up until then and do some online classes during the summer.
Cool.
And so,
yeah, I'm gonna stay in Fresno and just probably go to Fresno City and just chill there with my family.
Okay.
I'm going to be going to this little junior college called Snow College. I'm going to be playing football there.
Yeah.
And then hopefully going into a radiology degree and studying radiology and hopefully finding a wife.
Cool.
I'm going back to Utah, and I'm passionate about like shooting sports and firearms, and so I'd like to start my own custom gun shop and also teach firearm safety and concealed carry courses
Cool.
and things like that.
Hey, that hits home for me.
Yeah.
I started shooting traps this year. Do you do shotguns or no?
I do.
Is it mainly shotgun that you do?
I dabble in everything because I if I can shoot it, I do it.
Yeah,
So,
I just got into trap shooting this year, and my nephew got me into duck hunting last year, and I enjoyed it so much. I'm going to get my youngest son into his high school trap team.
Oh, wow.
So we'll see how that goes.
Dang.
So, but yeah,
Well,
God is good.
all the time, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I thought all four of you guys spoke Hmong, but no, only the two of you.
sorry
All right.
about that. Yeah.
And this is going to be pertaining mostly to you because you should know already what I'm
Yeah.
about to do, okay? So when you learned Hmong, how old were you?
So I started when I was 18.
Okay. And for you to be proficient up to this point, was it self-taught? Was it classes? How did you learn it?
So yes. So at the beginning of my mission, so we didn't actually. So I actually started my mission in May 2020. So that was when COVID was pretty big, and so I actually had to do all my learning Hmong from home. So I spent 9 weeks. We call it the MTC, or the Missionary Training Center. We basically learn how to be a missionary. If you're speaking a language, you learn how to get the basics of the language, basically. And so for 9 weeks, me and we also had a companion in the MTC. And so we kind of just studied together. We learned Hmong, and we had teachers to teach us. And
Is it Hmong teachers or non-Hmong teachers?
so we had one Hmong teacher who was Hmong, and then there's a return missionary who spoke Hmong, but he was pretty good at it though. And so I had one white teacher, one Hmong teacher.
Okay.
And so they were awesome, and they were really good. They taught us, and obviously we weren't the best at Hmong. We only had 9 weeks to learn,
Yeah.
but we got shipped out to Wisconsin, but you just kind of you keep studying in the field, and you keep using it, talking to Nietais and everyone that you can basically in Hmong, trying to learn as much. And so I would say for me, it did take a while for me to be proficient in Hmong. Probably closer to a year before I felt comfortable in holding a conversation with people and feel like I was understanding people. Even now, I don't understand everything, but I can hold a conversation very
Nice.
well. So
Obviously, you spoke Hmong. Who's better between the two of you?
I'd say he's better because I grew up in a Hmong family, but I never really grew up speaking Hmong.
It's mostly English.
Yeah.
I know my kids, they don't know a word of Hmong. you know,
Yeah.
and that's how it is.
I would say he's able to understand Hmong a lot better than I am, though, because for me to understand, I have to really like be in the zone and like really be listening. And I feel like I can speak pretty well and express myself for the most part, but sometimes understanding gets kind of
So
hard.
I've been meaning to. I want to ask this: is it white Hmong or green Hmong?
Is white Hmong.
White Hmong?
Mm-hmm.
Are
White
you?
Hmong.
Có gì Hmong lớn bây giờ?
Yeah. White
Okay.
Hmong.
Why white Hmong?
I think that's just because more
Hmong
from
people.
more Hmong people speak it, and then from what I've heard and kind of seen it, and what our teachers told us in the MTC, they said most people who can speak green Hmong kind of understand white Hmong. It's a little easier
yes.
for green Hmong.
That's what I've heard also.
White
Yes,
Hmong.
because I'm green
Yeah.
Hmong,
Mm-hmm.
and so but I married my wife who is white Hmong, and so I have to learn. It was hard for me to understand my mother-in-law at first, but eventually I had to. It's easier to transition, obviously, because I spoke Hmong already. So
That was kind of like my mom. My mom is green Hmong and my dad is
White?
white Hmong.
oh,
Yeah.
but you guys speak Hmong Tlai at home.
Not really.
You guys
My-
don't speak Hmong at all.
They speak Hmong, but then I don't speak Hmong.
Okay, but you do now a little bit.
Yeah, I'm pretty decent.
That's good.
Cool. I was gonna end this podcast with a little fun with all four of you, but you two don't speak. What's going on? I was kidding.
No, Hmong?
A little bit. Very little. Meh, meh. I'm going to give you guys a word, okay? And I want you guys to say it in Hmong Tlao. And if you know Hmong Jaw, would you know it if it's Hmong Jaw?
Maybe.
Maybe?
It depends.
Would you? No, you won't know it, huh? Okay.
No.
I say that because we have Hmong Jaw now here, right?
Mhm.
And everywhere I go, it's Hmong Tlao. And I'm like, oh, come on. I don't meet anybody that's Hmong Jaw, and so I can't have conversations with them. So anyway, this is my way of getting back. All right, I'm going to give you a word, and then you translate it in Hmong Tlao, and if you can, Hmong Jaw. All right? And I'm going to direct it towards you because you should know. But okay, ready? Mom.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, Nia.
Yeah, right. And Hmong Jaw.
Hmong Jaw, you'd say Nat.
Very good. Yeah, right. You got it. Okay. Blanket.
Dai Bat. Or
Like
is that
that.
Yeah, I think it's Ba.
Yes.
Okay.
Hmong Jaw.
Hmong Jaw, we Bang.
Kyo.
Oh, Kya. Okay,
Like
yeah,
kyo,
I did not know that.
Yeah. Chicken.
Okay.
No, ngai is meat.
Oh.
It's chicken. What's chicken?
Wouldn't- So in the chicken, so like chicken meat is kai. So kai, yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Hmong Jaw is ka.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear the pitch?
Ka.
Ka and
Yeah.
ka. Okay. White, obviously, which is
Dough,
in Hmong Jaw.
glow.
Very
yeah.
good. Oh man, he does know better than you,
I'm
huh?
saying.
New
New
blanket, new.
chia
Good. And Hmong Jaw.
would be cha.
Very good. Yes. Red.
Leah,
And then Hmong Jaw.
I'd say la. Yeah, I just know the A's turned into
Yeah,
the
you're right.
IAs
So
and
if you can
yeah.
figure that out, it's
Yeah.
easier to transition. And then obviously one last color, black.
Do.
All right. And Hmong Jaw.
Club?
No, Tlao is white.
Oh, do. Oh, black.
No clue.
Glue.
Very good. You got it. That is right. Tlao is in Hmong Jaw. Very good.
Okay.
Hey, that's been fun, guys. Would you guys be willing to come back in and do this again?
Absolutely.
yeah,
Oh,
for
cool.
sure.
I think
100%.
next time I wasn't really prepared, so I have to apologize to my audience. I was kind of busy with work and everything, and so I should have been a bit more prepared with questions and kind of have things flow a little better. But I think next time you guys come in, let's go into deeper into what you guys do, or I don't know, whatever you guys want to talk
Okay.
about. What I do want to hear next time is, or are any stories that you guys have, right? Because my my wife's nephew had an awesome story he was sharing with us when he was doing this, where he actually witnessed an exorcism
Whoa.
in California, because
Yeah.
right? So he witnessed an exorcism. I'm like, wow, that was pretty profound. And I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah. And I know him. He's not the one that's gonna exaggerate or lie. And so I thought that was just profound. If you guys have any stories, we'll share those next time.
Great.
Sounds
Cool.
good.
All right. Before we go, are you guys able to share this podcast with your family if they want to hear you? If you guys want to do any shout out, it's up to you guys. I don't know if that's a do or don't, or if you guys can or cannot do that.
If you send a link, we might be able to send it home to them. We can't watch it right now, but
Oh, you can. Can you text them?
yeah.
Yes, we can.
Okay, you can always text them. It's just a YouTube channel at Lee Yang Podcast.
Okay.
So if you guys just want to let them know, and they can say, "Hey, mom and dad, I'm on Lee Yang's podcast. If you want to listen." I'm not sure if you guys want to do any shout outs. No.
I can do it. I love you, Mom and Dad. Charlie, Ryan. My little brother Cody, he's on a mission right now, but he won't be able to listen to this. But I'll see you guys in about a month.
Cool.
Yep. Shout out to my mom, my dad too. Đào Kayeng, đào Tutsi Lumo, Sotua Kotu.
I'll give a shout out to my mom and dad too, and my little sister Macy. She's the best, and I guess I can shout out my brothers.
I guess.
I'll shout out mom and dad. I love you both, and my little sister. I love you too. And yeah,
Cool.
Also, I forgot my brother's wives. Savannah and Megan. Megan's about to have a baby, and so she'll be having a baby in about a week. So
Oh,
really excited for her.
Hey.
are you gonna be an uncle when you get back?
Oh yeah,
Cool.
I'm really excited.
All right. All right. Thanks everybody for sticking with us up at this point. If you like what you're listening to, please think about subscribing, share with your family and friends, and comment below if you like what you're listening to. All right. Thank you.